What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the second episode of this semester, episode 39, Home Turf Podcast, our first soccer episode of the season. I am Hunter Mitchell, joined here by my co-host, Cade Harris.
How's it going?
And our special guest, one of the editors on the Battalion Sports Desk, my fellow assistant sports editor, Kylie Stoner.
Hey.
So like I said, we're here to this week to break down A&M women's soccer, and well, it's been a start.
It's been a season, all right.
They have played 3 games.
They've definitely played 3 games. Definitely making a lot of mistakes early on. And we'll get into that once we kind of recap these 3 games that have been played. But yeah, the record right now is sitting at 0-2-1. No wins, 3 home games, no wins, 2 losses and a tie. So, not the optimal start that we're looking to see. But, I mean, the competition has been, it hasn't been nobody's. They've played all 3 teams from Power 5 schools. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and get this recap of the season's already been going on. Let's get that recapped.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously Kylie, she's our residential soccer knower. I don't think there's anyone even close to our desk that has the amount of soccer knowledge she has. So I just want to open with asking you first, Kylie. What do you think's going wrong here?
That's a really good question. I couldn't even tell you. It seems like a lack of chemistry and communication almost, just to like the casual viewer. I think there's been just a lot of miscommunications that have led to a lot of the goals given up.
Yeah, I mean, I covered the season opener of the Florida State game, and really it looked like they were going toe to toe with Florida State for the entire game, and then 1-1 tied it up, and then I think like the 84th minute, just it really, like you said, looked like a severe lack of communication. Kenna Caldwell kind of runs out, leaves her position, the goal, and then Florida State, I could have made that basket. They just went right past her and just knocked in.
Don't ever call it a basket again.
Oh,
college basketball.
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know why I said basket.
It's a goal.
Yeah, I mean, I know that. I don't know why I said basket. I guess I've got basketball in the mind all the time.
Yeah, you're a college basketball nerd.
I love college basketball, but I love all college sports too. And seeing our women's soccer like this, who kind of almost like in a weird way, and almost past years, kind of like in the same spot women's basketball is at, where like historically, really good, and then has kind of fallen off recently. So I guess we'll go back. I want to go back to that Florida State and Washington State, and Kylie, kind of want your thoughts on if you think that those were winnable games, or do you think those are games that were already chalked up like on the schedule, like probably going to drop, but like good non-conference?
So Coach G was talking about those beginning few opponents being a good lesson, good way to test what they had done in the off season and the preseason. So I don't know if we could have necessarily won the Florida State game, but I don't think we should have lost. I think the way they were playing, a tie would have been perfect. Like you tied a ranked team. Washington State, I think they should have won that one. And they were both giving up late goals, which was a big thing they did last season, and they improved on that at least in the Baylor game, where they didn't give up a late goal to lose the game. They just ended on a tie.
Yeah, and I think going back to that Florida State game, I think a tie was probably what they should have had in that situation. Like you said, giving up the late goal, Kenna came off her line, probably should not have. But that Washington State game, we gave up 3 goals, but I mean, I wouldn't even say like any of them really should have happened. The penalty that we gave up, I think that was a bit of a lucky call there for Washington State. And then, I think it was the second goal where we just kicked it off our own player. Like Quinn Cornog wasn't really paying attention, just ricochets off her. They get it, they score. And I don't know. A lot of these goals that the other teams are scoring just shouldn't feel like they should be scoring these goals.
Yeah, and so going into that Baylor game, I mean, Fish Camp game, probably like, I think it was like the ninth largest attendance in like NCAA women's soccer history. Like not just like Texas A&M. Like that's huge. Um, and ends in a 1-1 tie. And I think kind of the same sentiments as Washington State. I feel like, at least in my opinion, it seems on paper that Baylor was an extremely winnable game.
Yeah, I wasn't at that game, but Kylie, how was the atmosphere?
It was crazy. So yeah, it was number 9 NCAA attendance record. It was second all time A&M soccer. Coach G said post game that the venue only seats 2,500, so it was packed. People were there right when the gates opened an hour early. I barely got in on time, is what it felt like. The line was crazy. The yell leaders were going. Everything was loud. So I don't really know what happened there. Well, a theme again. Kenna came off her line too far, and they scored the opening goal. And we tied on a PK, which is sad because we shot 22 shots on goal. And
Wasn't it like 22-5?
yeah, they had 5 shots on goal. One of theirs went in. We had 22 shots on goal. None of ours went in.
No, we had 6 shots on goal, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry. 22 shots, 6 shots on goal. They had 5 shots, 2 shots on goal, I want to say. Yes.
Yeah, 22 shots. You got to be able to put the ball in the net, more than one time. And that one goal came from a PK. So it's like I don't know if that's the one game this year that I haven't watched. So you can probably tell me better. I don't know if the shots were just not great chances or just they were just missing the target. What was going on there?
So a lot of them, I would say a good portion were just right around the crossbar. Like they just like the better angle, like a step further back would have gone in. There was a good portion of them that went pretty high over. Some were blocked. Their goalie was on it. I'm trying to think. One hit off the crossbar. That was a disappointing one. But yeah, and then Miley Hayes scores the penalty kick 2 games in a row, earning and scoring a PK. So that was pretty big for her. But she said post game that I asked her about the PK, and she said she went up against them, I want to say in preseason recently, or spring. I think it was spring season. And she just went the other way because the girl stopped it in the preseason. So it's a wonderful tactic.
Yeah, and it begs a bigger question because, I hate to, I feel like it's an Aggie tradition. As soon as a team who has a lot of history starts losing, it immediately turns to commander-in-chief. We've had one soccer coach our entire time here, since A&M has started women's soccer, and it's, great history. Looking back on our previous seasons, like really solid. Making up, wasn't that what was the NCAA streak?
It was a long time,
Yeah,
over 20 years, I think.
Well,
yeah.
It was because Coach G's been there. This is his 31st season. So I think, what was it, 2021? Was that when they didn't go?
Yeah, it was 2021.
So it was up until, I want to say, 2021.
Which is extremely impressive. You can't disregard that in any way.
No.
But since 2021, it's been pretty lackluster.
Yeah, being honest, it has been a downward trajectory entirely for the program. Obviously, we're only 3 games into the season.
Yeah.
Stuff can change. A&M's not, the season's not over. Like I said, we're 3 games in. But yeah, they're gonna need to see some major improvements. They're gonna need to start putting the ball in the net for one, and I think they need to start just getting Micaiah McDonald the ball. That's my keys.
She is.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the press box during the Baylor game, that they took her out and she was making most of those chances, and then she was out for a while. The defense is pretty young. It's the youngest portion of the field for sure. So I think give them time, but I don't know if time is on their side necessarily.
Yeah, looking at their schedule coming up, they're non-conference. We have Tulsa tomorrow, TCU, Grambling State, Rice. All of those, in my opinion, extremely winnable. Some of those, like Tulsa, Grambling, would say, you have to win those. Then at TCU, it's a good road challenge. It's really the only true I don't want to say serious, but like it's their biggest road challenge in non-conference. I mean, they go to Rice, but um, I mean, they have a lot of opportunity to turn it around in non-conference, but then you turn and look ahead to conference play. You know, you start host Kentucky. It's just, I mean, most like a lot like a lot of the Southeastern Conference in every sport. It's just a gauntlet up and down. Um, and so you kind of look from what we've seen in the first 3 games this young season, and you're looking to try to figure out where you could find that they could like have this shift and turn it around. Because I mean, you know, they made the NCAA tournament last year. I mean, let's not like disregard that, but I mean, it was 9-7-5, lose 1-3 at your rival's place, and kind of fizzles out. So
Yeah, I mean, I think just starting off, like, you got to turn it around tomorrow. Like, it starts tomorrow. The Tulsa team you're playing is not a good team. Like, in my opinion, we were talking off the podcast, me and Kylie, that this is a must-win game. Like, if you're A&M, you have to win this game. Because if you don't, you're going winless through 4 games into TCU, which, I mean, TCU, they've lost a lot of players, like we were also talking about earlier, but they're still a quality team. And, I mean, you go into TCU with, like, absolutely no momentum, it's not going to turn out good for you. Then 5 games in, no wins. Like, that just doesn't sit well for the NCAA committee.
yeah, so you know, I ask you, Carly, do you think Coach G is the problem here?
I don't necessarily think so.
Okay.
Not 110% no. I think I don't think he's not at fault at all, though. So he's been here for 31 years, right? So 31 seasons. He should know what it takes, but there's always lulls in everyone's career, right? So he might be getting there. He has a young team still, right? So I think he can turn it around still.
What do you think? What would you like to see from A&M and in their game against Tulsa tomorrow?
Well, with Tulsa, we've played them 4 times and have won all 4. So I would like to see them continue that streak of only winning against Tulsa. If they tie, it's not going to be good. It's the same as a loss, you know. Just to save face, you need to win. You need to win impressively. You can't just win 1-0, right? You have to like show out. So with Tulsa coming here especially, and it's the last of the 4 home game stretch, I think you really need to show out before you go to TCU, because TCU isn't bad, right? They're not to be. You need to think about them, right? You need to prep. They're not going to be your walk in the park.
Yeah.
So Tulsa, I want to see them communicating. I want to see them having chemistry on the field. Like, it looks like a lot of the players are getting frustrated at each other for missing passes, and you can't convey that, right? You can't show that. You can't show the opponent that they're just going to pick you apart.
Who do you think, player-wise, personnel-wise, you want to see really step up?
We were talking earlier about Micaiah McDonald. I think she's doing great. So I don't think she needs to step up any further. She's already taking on a lot of responsibility. I want to see Jasmine Wilkinson. She's a transfer, and she's been getting more time on the field, but I want to see her completing more chances than she has. I want to see her making more shots. There's 22 shots on goal. I don't know how many she had, if any. 2. Right? I want to see her going up there more. Sammy Smith, I think, has been carrying the team a little bit. Miley Hayes is as normal, doing Miley Hayes things. But I want to see Jasmine Wilkinson showing out a little bit more.
Do you think? What's your opinion on Kenna Caldwell's performance so far in this season?
So far in this season, she has played every minute of every regular season game. She didn't in the exhibitions, but she played every minute of regular season, and she's a captain, so that makes sense. But obviously it's a team sport. She's not the sole reason that goal went in, or the other goals that she came off the line went in, but she needs to have some better judgment for sure. So I would like to see Grace McClellan, who was another transfer. I think she's a 5th year, go into goal, because I feel she's pretty strong in there too.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Change up in goalie and the just to try something new maybe against Tulsa. I mean, I feel like if you're gonna experiment, it's a good game to do something like that.
Yeah, you think that's like that's a move that you would make, or do you feel like maybe that would maybe that would hurt your goalie's confidence too much? What do you think about like that possibility of swapping your goalie? Do you think it'd be a wake up call, or do you think it would be a punch to the gut?
I think it could be a punch to the gut, quite honestly. I wouldn't start Grace McClellan.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think Kenna should start. She has great communication, great control over her defense, which then pushes it on forward. So I think if Kenna's given up a goal against Tulsa, you might want to put Grace McClellan in.
Mm-hmm. So y'all got score predictions for Tulsa?
A&M wins 3-1.
Mm.
I have more hope in Kenna. I was going to go 2-0.
2-0. I'll go big. I'll say they breakout game. I'll say 4-0.
Yeah, I was thinking 4-0, but
I like I'm like betting big. I put all my chips in.
I mean, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. Like I said, Tulsa's not a good team. They've played some really poor soccer during the regular season, and yeah, I mean, a 4-0 win would be huge going into TCU, and I'd love to see it.
Yeah, like I said, they need to show out for sure. I don't think 4-0 is. I don't think it's not a possibility, but just with the 22 shots, they could definitely land 4 in there. But the fact that they didn't land any out of those 22, it is concerning.
Yeah, I think overall offense needs to be a lot more productive. I mean, it's there. Like the opportunities are there. It's really capitalizing on it. And let's hope they can get that done coming into Tulsa. But I think for today that wraps up our preview for Tulsa for soccer. Thank you for tuning into the Home Turf Podcast. I'm Hunter Mitchell,
I'm Cade Harris.
and thank you, Kylie, for being our esteemed guest. You will almost certainly be hearing a lot more from Kylie in our soccer episodes. I mean, she carries us a lot in this. That's her lifeblood. Much like how I took college basketball and Cade to whatever Cade's into.
Beast Ball.
But again, this has been the Home Tour Podcast. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you again later.